hitting the button. I'm hitting the button. I'm hitting the button. I'm hitting the button. I'm hitting the button. Hitting the button. Hitting the button. Is that a euphemism for something? Hitting the button? Is that? Oh, maybe we're gonna get demonetized because I hit the button in the live. Jesus, what's up, Miles? What's happening, dude? It's been a while.
Hey, Brian, what up? What up? What up? It's been a while. Been a while because we actually didn't. We haven't done the last 2 Fridays because 2 Fridays ago we were at PAX East.
Oh wow!
But the Saturday episode just went up today, and I watched a little bit of the actual episode because obviously it's after all the PAX East stuff, and yeah, it's great. It's crazy that it was like over 14 months, as you said, since we did it last.
Right. Oh man, yeah, man. It was. I'm really happy to have gotten all that footage taken care of. It was crazy to have stuff just like piling up on my phone, piling up on my laptop, trying to figure out just like normal stuff, dude. Like trying to figure out how to get files, like video files and audio files, from my phone, which is right in front of me, and from my laptop, which is right next to me, onto the computer that I normally used to edit. It's like, what? Why is it? How is it 2025? And like for some reason, I'm still finding this really complicated, right? Why isn't it? I created a home network. I had shared folders. I was emailing stuff to myself. I mean, it was a full day of just collating all the files, and another 14 hours of editing. But love it, man. Love
Honestly,
it.
Great work.
Love that we can.
What a great event.
Oh, so good. But glad that we can move past it and start focusing on other stuff. I got reviews to make. I got games to play.
I've got a lot of games to play. I'm so behind.
I heard that you're going to play Madison. Is this true?
Well, I mean, sure, yeah, but after I've caught up with the other games.
Okay, so
but I definitely am gonna return to Madison for sure.
I think you owe it to a few cats. I think a couple of them out there.
I owe it to many cats.
Excellent. All right, man. Let's get this show started. I want to do this.
All right, let's go.
This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 hours Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. We do it right here on YouTube. You can use your eyes to watch it. But if you want to use your ears instead of your eyes, go to podcast services of your choice where we upload this thing as an MP3. It's easy to listen to. I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes it's hard to listen to. But good luck with that. Yeah. Challenge accepted. My name's Brian Powell from this channel right here without Parole. And this gentleman over here to my left, you're right, it is, Miles Dyer from youtube.com/Miles.
It was good doing that in person right next to you. It felt a bit more awkward, but it was there. I don't know if it's more of a cat thing. Maybe it's just me turning into a proper game cat. Yeah, going good, man. We don't talk flat screen, but I bought my first full price $70 game in, I think, over a year. What game do you think it is? You probably saw actually on my Discord what I was playing.
I actually didn't see what you were playing.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I know Claire Obscure is Expedition 33 is not a full price $70 game.
Oh, is it not?
But it's $50.
I heard amazing things about it, even though I know very little about it.
But that's the one I want. That's the one I want to play. Like I literally, man, like I've been so busy with channel stuff and without Parole and VR or whatever. I've got just games that I just really, really want to play on Switch and in my Steam Deck and wherever else. And hearing the story of Expedition 33 made me just go, I want to just, I need a game to sink my teeth into when I'm not working, when I'm not doing VR stuff, when I'm laying in bed. So that's high on my list, and I almost pulled the trigger, but I have not yet. So I'm really curious to hear. You know what? Let's not talk about VR today. What flat screen games are we going to talk about? What flat screen game did you pull the trigger
on? Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
a massive Doom fan. I mean, Game Cats. I have this next to my wall. I don't know if that showed up. Yeah, I mean, id Software, really interesting. They're always reinventing themselves. This is going to be a game that some people just don't dig because it's slow. I mean, you literally feel like a tank. It's melee combat. You have a shield. It's parrying enemy attacks. And I'm playing on Nightmare mode. I would never play Doom Eternal or Doom 2016 on Nightmare mode. I would not last through one level. And I mean, there's 22 levels in the game. I think I'm on level 8 at the moment. And I mean, I am dying, but I'm getting through it pretty decently. The game looks beautiful. And it would be so good in VR. And actually, I think it probably would work better in VR than Doom Eternal, although Doom Eternal was great just because it's a much slower pacing. And the idea of being in VR, because you're always playing this power fantasy as the Doom Slayer. But in Doom the Dark Ages, because it's got this like medieval vibe and you're playing a lot slower and it's about parrying and stuff like that, you just like, if you jump from a high edge and land among the enemies just splatter. Like, because you're so like tanky, you just like knock everyone away. And just to like have that hench feeling in VR would be amazing. I mean, I think id Software jumping back into VR for me has always been the dream when it comes to IPs. And because the id engine, if that's what it's called, works so well. We've talked about this before, you know, getting Doom Eternal working on the Switch, being able to play Doom Eternal at 120 FPS on a regular PS5, and it looks beautiful. I'm just like, these guys, they could use that tech. I mean, I know nothing about that development side, but I just assume it's so well optimized. Surely they could make it work with VR. But yeah, having a good time with it, and it's for the reason you say. I'm not really getting a lot of time to put the headset on at the moment. I really got hit by jet lag from the US trip. I got back last Friday, and I actually went to a electronic dance music show on Saturday night to see one of my favourite artists, Coven. Many people might know because part of Monster Cat is on a lot of these VR music games. And they weren't on stage until 12:30 a.m. until 2 a.m. way past my bedtime. But because I was still on the East Coast, I was like, wow, I'm so like in the zone for this. And I was, but then I got to Wednesday and Thursday of this week, and then like I crashed like hard. And so I'm looking forward to having lots and lots of sleep this weekend. But anyway, that's my week in summation. How was yours, Brian?
Fine. I'm going to stay on topic though. I'm going to ignore my week. I because I've actually been hearing about Doom the Dark Ages, but it's weird that I haven't, like, I'm not going to go like watch a review of it or something, but you know, I did watch the most recent episode of GameScoop and just people in passing, but no one has, I guess, answered the question that I've got about Doom, because I haven't really been into Doom for a while, right? Like, I didn't play Doom Eternal, and I didn't play, I'm not playing this.
Did you play Doom 2016, the first?
No.
Remake. Oh, okay.
No.
Interesting.
And here's why, Miles. It relates to the question that I have for you. Because my question is what are you doing in Doom these days? Like, is it more than just running around and killing demons? Like, what are you doing now? Because gaming has evolved so much since Doom was a thing. And in VR, on PlayStation VR 1, I was more than happy to play Doom 3 VR, right? It's dark corridors and it was scary vibe and everything. That was all I needed. That's all I needed in VR, right? But like, if I'm going to sit down and play a flat screen Doom game, it's gotta, especially if it's a $70 Doom game, it's gotta offer something more. So what obviously things have evolved. What are we doing now?
It's interesting you say it. So when I mentioned that id keeps reinventing Doom, obviously I didn't go into specifics, but I'll happily do so now because it will answer this question. So Doom 2016 was Doom is back. Like, look at these graphics. It was all about glory kills, which is where when you take an enemy down to almost no health, they start glowing, and then you press like R3 to do a glory kill, which is just some like over the top kill, and it's so fast paced and just this modern version of Doom. It was incredible. The limitations of Doom 2016, in my opinion, were that it was a lot of like, you go into an area, you get closed off, you kill all the enemies, and then you move on to the next area. It was very much like, okay, by the latter half of the game, I was like, I know what we're doing. And it was still fun, but I didn't really have much of a feeling of going back. Doom Eternal, I think Doom Eternal probably has been the most impressive game to date. It's not my favourite because it falls short in other ways. But what they did was, and I'll try and make sure I don't get too complicated explaining the complicated system, but it was all about juggling. And look, so some game cats who've been talking about in the chat may disagree with me, but I remember playing Doom Eternal and I was genuinely like, oh my God, I've really got to get my brain working to think about this, because there's 3 currencies that you're working with: ammo, health, and armor. And the way it worked was you got health by doing glory kills, so going up close and meleeing them when they were on almost 0 health. You had to get armor, and you got armor by using this like flamethrower shoulder mount, and I can't remember how you got to use it. I think it was after so many kills or something, and so you'd flamethrower an enemy, armor shards would fall off and you'd collect armor. And then ammo was using a chainsaw, which you had to have fuel for, and I think there were other ways of charging it up. But when you got ammo, you didn't get ammo for the gun you were currently using. It was for other guns. So you'd always have to switch across all your guns. And so the whole game was learning the different weaknesses of the enemies. There was an enemy type in it called a Marauder, who I won't go into details now. It was very controversial when it came out because he was so hard to kill. And even the developers were surprised by how pissed off streamers were of like, how is this guy so impossible to kill? And I really struggled with him. But like Doom Eternal, you could play the original Doom game in Doom Eternal. So in Doom Guys, the Doom Slayers base in space, you could go to like this computer room and there was a little computer in the corner and you could play inside it the original Doom, which like as meta goes, like that's really cool. And it was I felt Doom Eternal was the best celebration of Doom in lots of different ways. And then Doom the Dark Ages, they've gone, yeah, we're gonna switch it up again. And it's like Doom Eternal was a lot of like traversal, swinging on stuff and moving around. There was a lot of platforming. And like it was
almost,
very
almost
much
to the extent that they called it parkour, right? Or was that not?
Yeah,
I think it's the wrong game. Yeah.
No. Some people did say that. I didn't think it was that much, but yeah, a lot of people did think it. But then and then Doom the Dark Ages, they've just gone. It's just like slowed down. It's parrying now. You have a shield that you throw, like Captain America, and it cuts enemies up. If there are enemies with shields, you have to shoot them to heat them up, and when they're hot, you can throw your shield in, and it just like blows them up. And again, I'm not halfway through the game yet, but every game they have reinvented it feels different. I do think like Doom 2016 is a great game, but in my opinion, if you play Doom Eternal or Doom the Dark Ages, Doom 2016 probably isn't going to be as enjoyable if you go back to it. But Doom 2016 is the one that I think would make the most sense to give a VR port, just because it came out quite a while ago. But yeah, I definitely think that if you were a fan of the classic Doom games, definitely try Doom 2016, try Doom Eternal, and then the Dark Ages. Like they all offer something slightly differently, whilst also like it's definitely a Doom game. It's a power fantasy.
Yeah, and I think I just need that in VR. Like if this is what I'm going to be doing, like based on the description you just gave, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like I'm not super excited about it or anything like that. But if man, you give this to me in VR, and then I'm excited, right? Because then I'm in this fucking crazy world, and I'm doing all these crazy things. I'm not just seeing it on a flat screen across the room. That's why I think like Claire Obscure Expedition 33 will work for me, because it's just a turn-based RPG. Like it's, that works on a screen across the room. It doesn't have to be super immersive or anything like that. Just like grind away. I'm happy with that. So thanks for the explanation. I don't think I'm any more interested now than I was at the beginning of this conversation, though.
Dude,
if it comes to VR,
if it was in VR,
game changer. Yeah, absolutely. And no, I'm not going to fucking mod it on PC.
GameCats in the live chat, or if you're watching on replay in the comments, out of the 3 new Doom games, which is the one you would most like to play in VR? I'd be curious. I mean, the glory kills would be amazing. I mean, I liked Doom on was it VFR? Is that what it was called? I liked it, even though there were just those odd choices, like the grenade launcher that was stuck to your head. That was the weirdest thing ever. Just everywhere you're looking, and it was just like there.
3 control schemes, every single one of them had an issue.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
But I actually liked all 3 control schemes, despite the fact that they all had an issue with them, and had a blast with it's just a completely different way of playing with the move controllers and teleportation. Very strange, but fun.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great game, and I was just like, I'm just so sad they never continued with it.
Yeah, really sad they never continued with it. But obviously, obviously a lot of love for Doom in VR between Doom 3 and Doom VFR, and of course the best way to play those games in VR has just not occurred. They've not brought those games to PSVR2. I'm desperately trying to create a segue here, and it's not working very well. But Miles, you know who loves PSVR2?
Jim Ryan.
I mean, maybe.
Was that not the segue? Sorry.
There's no way to tell. No, apparently everybody on Twitter loves PSVR2. This is insanity. So
I love it.
Ace of Thunder tweeted out, they said, Pallets, we wanted to ask what VR headset you're using. Please share in the comments. And holy moly. Dude, before the show, I saw this and I was like just scrolling through, and like I tend to do, I wanted to show support to all my PSVR2 people out there. And so I was liking every comment that had PSVR2 as the response, and like my finger got tired and I was like, we got to do a show. I was like, I'm just click on all these hearts. I mean, it's one thing, Miles, when developers tweet and they go, what headset are you using? And then they put out a poll, and then we see the numbers, and PSVR2 just like always just trounces the competition. But it's another thing when they don't put out a poll and you just see everybody responding one by one by one, and it's just PSVR2, PSVR2, PSVR2. And that's exactly what we see here. It is insanity. Bad Robo kicking it off. PSVR2, Joanne, PSVR2, Wes, PSVR2. That's not our Wes, but he is our Wes. They're all our Wes's. Chris says PSVR2. Steven Smith, PSVR2 on Pro and Quest 3. Prefer the PSVR2. Joshua, PSVR2, but hardly use it. Just waiting on this. Good enough. I'll heart you. Lucas de Valet Martin. Sorry, my eyes are going. Says PSVR2 and MetaQuest 3. Gibby says, me and my sim rig waiting for Aces to be released on PSVR2. It's just one after another. There's the occasional Quest 2 person or the occasional PC person, but man, it is overwhelming majority. Insane. And this is what we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, guys. Like this is what the developers at PAX told us about. They said this is what we need to hear. This is what we need to see. They need to say, we need to hear you. Right, because there can be sales figures, and Sony can tell these developers, hey, there's 2 million or 3 million PSVR2s out in the wild. Meta can say, hey, there's 5 million Quest 3s out in the wild. But it's the people who are actively engaging and saying, hey, we are here. We want to buy your game. These are the people. These are the active users, right? These are not the people with a PSVR2 or a Quest 3 pushed under their bed collecting dust. These are the people looking to play games. And it's amazing.
Yeah. And being on the other side of things now, working on game launches and stuff, it's funny because whenever I do social posts for game announcements and launches and I see all the PSVR2 requests come in, I'm just like, I'm so proud. These are my people. Like, it's just like, I love it so much because people do notice. And just this week, we announced that Impact Inked, the Impact Reality publishing arm, about a V-Racer hover bike is coming to Quest. And I obviously quote tweeted it because, I'm promoting it and I've played it and it's awesome. And I just said that there's no plans for PSVR2 yet. But for those like me craving that wipeout feeling again in VR, here's hoping it does well enough on Quest to open that door. And ACAM replied and said, I love how Miles knows his audience and heads us off preemptively. Good luck on hopefully a great Quest launch. And I replied, and I just want to be absolutely clear, I am not trying to quell people from asking about PSVR2. I just like to communicate like the reality of what it is. I just want to say that if you don't think your words matter, they do. Like if developers are looking at the replies and the majority of people are just saying PSVR2 again and again, because we often get asked by developers saying, we're thinking about PSVR2, but and sometimes we hear like, but PSVR2 is dead, right? And it's like, no, it's not dead. There's questions about how it went at the beginning and stuff, but like the sales that have gone on, and there's a lot of games that are just better suited for PSVR2 because people that play PSVR2 are gamers. People that play MetaQuest are sometimes gamers and sometimes, or more often than not, are casual, like VR enthusiasts kind of stuff that do the social games and stuff like that. So yeah, with that and Aces of Thunder, and with all games that you see on Quest, just keep making noise, guys. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. And trust me, devs are talking about it. Devs notice, and it really does go into their consideration.
It's Steve Irie in the chat says, have there really been 3 million PSVR2 sold? Sony's not talking, and there's no way to really know other than just by trying to deduce what's happened. I think when we had the momentary price drops, there was like the back to school sale, then I think there was like a Black Friday sale. I can't quite remember how that all went down, but it was when the price tag dropped to $350 twice, right? And we saw massive surges in subscriber numbers and view counts over here on PSVR without Parole, and then and then the price dropped permanently. We knew we were doing okay, and then you just kind of start putting the numbers together, and you assume we're, I don't know, 2.5, 3 million, something like that. But it's all just guesses. It's all just guesses, waiting for Sony to basically say. And I don't think they really want to say. I don't think they, especially when Meta, I'm sure, is more than happy to say, hey, 5 million Quest 3s. Although maybe they're not happy to say that either, because they were like, when sales analysts were saying 20 million Quest 2s, they never stepped in and was like, yeah, that's accurate. They're like, no, that just sounds good. It sounds way better than whatever the truth is. So let's roll with that. So neither one of these companies is really giving us the data that we need. The best data is when a game comes out and it sells really well, and it sells the best on PlayStation. That's the most important data, because these developers talk to each other and they say, hey, yep, this is definitely where you should be focused on. This should be your lead platform. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So anyway, listen, shout out to everybody who I had to click a little hard on. You guys are doing great work out there. Just spreading the love. This is good stuff. And if you don't have a Twitter account, totally cool. We're doing our best to make sure that you have the ability to chime in with weekly polls on the YouTube channel. It's we've got you all corralled right here on YouTube, and so why not take advantage of the community page and post there? And I'll be doing that a lot more often. The detached poll that we did reached 1,400 people, or 1,400 people voted in it, as compared to the 400 people that voted on the Twitter poll, the exact same Twitter poll. And so clearly we get better results over here anyway. So don't worry, just we'll keep pointing you toward polls pretty much every Monday, and letting you know how you can contribute. Mad Vegan says, open a Blue Sky account. Dude, I have a Blue Sky account, and there's no polls there. We need polls.
You can't do polls on it?
No, there's like a work like backwards way to do it, but it's like you just need to have a button where you click and say, oh, I want to create a poll. It's very important. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. Are we still playing the Doom trailer? We are.
Are we?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a laid back day for sure. So for all the cats out there who care about what happens behind the scenes, Miles was like, oh dude, I can't make it to GamesCast, and I was like, that's fine. There's no news to talk about. We'll just cancel GamesCast. And then about an hour before the show,
I didn't actually know you were canceling GamesCast. I just thought I'd say I'd help you find a replacement.
Yeah,
and then last minute I could do it, and you were like, oh, it was about to get cancelled. But
yeah,
let's do it.
So we weren't even gonna, like, really, for a good chunk of today, we weren't even going to do a show, and now we're here, and Miles is half drunk, so it's all good.
I'm not. Yeah,
3/4 drunk. Sorry, I apologize.
I haven't had a drink in a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
neither have I. I can rectify that too.
No, don't.
We got GameCat Andrew Ehrenreich in the chat with the level 2 membership. Says, the day I finally buy a PSVR 1 will be the day Sony figures out backwards compatibility. Should I just go ahead and do this for the greater good? Should you buy a PSVR 1 for the greater good? Like, you playing PSVR 1 games is the greater good, I'm assuming, is what he's saying. Listen,
I just had a random thought.
Yeah.
PlayStation's getting rid of PlayStation Stars. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on
we did
on Wednesday's show or
I don't know if it's
Jammy
available
Day.
to everyone, but if you
Yeah.
can claim the PlayStation VR2 headset on it, I think you just have to play a PlayStation VR2 game. It's a really cool collectible, and you do get to keep the collectibles when it ends. So, yeah.
Listen, you can get a PSVR 1 so cheap right now, and with all the sales that happen on the PlayStation Store like weekly, the number of PSVR 1 games that go on sale for like $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, it just constantly is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like if I always advocate for being a generation behind. Not that this is what Andrew Ehrenreich is saying that he wants to do. He doesn't want to regress and be like, oh, I'm giving up my PSVR 2. But it's always cool to have like some older gaming stuff going on where games are going to be on sale, where they're going to be cheap, a little bit outdated, and so you get this like you get to accrue this massive catalog for almost no money at all. And I mean, PSVR 1 still has one of the best VR libraries, period. It's so if you don't have one, if you haven't delved into that, like absolutely. And it'll be fun to try to figure out light tracking and figure out how to turn with buttons and walk with buttons. Shit's fun.
I went back into my PSVR for a bit of trophy hunting and played a few games, and yeah, obviously it's not as good as the PSVR2. It'd be very concerning if you went back and went, oh, it's pretty much the same. But you do get used to it, and it's just like when you play retro games, you just enjoy it for what it is. And as Brian says, with the price and how cheap a lot of games are on it, there's a great back catalogue. So many games that are yet to come over.
TV says a System Critical 2 worth $2. No, it's not. We value your time. It's not worth your time.
I had a good time with it.
You guys are all fucking out of your mind.
But not to the extent that the devs bang on about it. They might be biased.
Hey, listen, maybe System Critical 3 will be great.
Game of the year.
Yeah.
Could be game of the year.
Yeah. We got a couple more questions here. We got Dratz Ebb with the level 3 membership says Doom TDA, the Dark Ages, would be great in VR. Also, you can increase the game speed to 150%.
Okay, that's a really cool thing they've done on it, is you choose what difficulty you want to play, and then in the options they have sliders for so much. So you can choose like the speed of the projectiles, you can choose the parry window, like everything is customizable. So they said some people play the game where they turn down the speed of projectiles, but they make it that like if you get hit, you die. So it's a true bullet hell game. And I kind of like that. Some people get a bit iffy with customization, thinking, if you're trophy hunting, like you should have to play it on a certain difficulty in a certain way. But I think more options better. People should be able to play the game that fits them. And I think it's great that the game works with all those different options.
Nice. Yeah, it's I always find it strange, right, when you can kind of just the developers say here are the keys to the kingdom, right? Play however you want. But it's cool. To me it seems like something that, like, for me personally, I want to play the game that they designed.
Correct. And you can do that. And that's what they say, yeah.
And then I feel like as a cool bonus, then all these options open up, and then after you've completed the game and say, hey,
right.
Now we hand you the keys to the kingdom, and you can play however you want to. It's just a preference that I have, and so having those options available right from the get go is like, oh well, that's interesting. But I feel like I would try to avoid that until I played it their way.
Yeah, Hugo Martin, who's the creative director of id Software, Doom Eternal and 2016 and Doom: The Dark Ages, like, I always bang on about his like philosophy, but like if you ever get a chance to watch interviews of him when he talks about like game design, it's absolutely fascinating. And he talked about the sliders for Doom: The Dark Ages, which is in the classic days of Doom, you'd get the cheat code for all ammo. But he's like, this is a bit more nuanced because it might be, I want more of a certain type of ammo. I don't know if the sliders allow that in particular, but I think you can like talk about like customize the ammo you get for different weapons or things like that. And yeah, it's like choices. And as you say, I used to like playing games properly and then turn on the cheat codes, because as soon as you do the cheat codes, it just like takes the joy out of the game. I remember doing it with like classic Command and Conquer games and that. By the way, Iron Guard, Is it Iron Guard, or was that the wrong name that someone else said?
No, that's correct. Iron Guard.
That was. What was the wrong name that was said during?
Iron Rebellion, which
I
is
don't
a
know.
submarine game. Maybe is that what,
Dude,
not
I
what it
can't.
was? Yeah.
I can't wait to play Iron Guard. Like, my type of game. And you gave it a good review.
Yeah. Yeah, actually AJ sent me a text late last night or this morning or something. It all runs together. And he said he completed it and loved it. Yeah, I got my buddy in California texting me right now, being like, I'm stuck on level 21. How do I get through it? And the answer is lasers. The answer is always lasers, guys. Build more lasers. Right? You start developing these strategies early on. You're like, well, I'm going to use this turret to freeze, and then this turret, as an actual weapon turret, and then this one has a flamethrower, and like light them on fire, and I'm just going to use this like this three pronged attack, and that works for so long that it's easy to be like, kind of stick with it even when it stops working. And you go, oh man, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And I end up trying basically the same strategy on level 21 for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 deaths, something like that. And when you die the second to last wave, it's not short. It's like 20 minutes each attempt. So I've spent like an hour or two on that. I mean, like finally I was like, I gotta change up a strategy. What am I doing? Like why? And when I finally just like went all out, balls to the wall lasers, that was that took care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Noctis with the €2.50 says, missed last streams. Here's tribute to the VR champ. Oh, thank you so much. I always appreciate you stopping in, giving your support. We appreciate all you guys. It's so great, man. Why am I so out of it right now? I thought I was
viewer takeover questions. Would that help, Brian?
Yeah. We can do viewer takeover questions. What viewer takeover questions do you want to do, Miles?
All right, well, let's have a look. Let's go with Nihilist Ryan, the Game Fearline, who says at viewer takeover, which you can leave over on the Discord link in the description below. He says, playing any Redacted games at the moment. Love the Legendary Tales live stream. Could we get some more of those in future? Maybe a Ghost of Tabor live stream. Actually, a Ghost of Tabor live stream would be amazing. I definitely enjoyed doing the Phasmophobia one we did together, and Legendary Tales. I definitely think 4-player live streams. It to be honest, it's something we've talked about for a long time, and it is difficult to arrange. But I definitely love those simultaneous live streams. I don't want to bully you with this, Brian, but is the Phasmophobia one going to go up? Is it going to be edited or?
Yeah. There's the list of priorities. I wanted the Phasmophobia one and the Legendary Tales one to be edited, right? I want to take all of our streams, edit them together into a nice little 20-minute, easy to watch where we jump back and forth perspective-wise from each person on the Parole board. I wanted that all to be done before PAX, and man, it got crazy before PAX. I think over the course of the next 2 weeks, I'll probably get each of those done.
Both are nice.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because we got a little bit of downtime coming. Like the only game I believe that's coming out next week is Get Out, A Very Bad Dream Story, and so it's just a smaller budget horror game. I think it's $10, and I was supposed to get keys for it today. So to answer your question, Alice, Ryan, no, we're not. I'm not playing anything Redacted right now. I'm definitely waiting on some keys for Redacted things. But no, we got kind of this nice little quiet time coming up right now, which is really nice because it's been so balls to the wall for weeks, like all of May, and then June is already kind of heating up, right? So it's nice to have this little week-long respite between the two months that are crazy.
Yeah.
So,
I'm playing some Redacted, but that's just because of the nature of the job I do. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for this year with VR. We've got some really cool stuff going. And as I mentioned, I did play a NDreams, what I would regard as a AAA project at Gamescom last year. And honestly, I know nothing else since playing it. And obviously I can't say any more, but I was super excited by it. So I hope NDreams announces something soon because I'm really annoyed Frenzies isn't coming to PSVR2.
Yeah. I mean, and they did say in that same announcement where they said that Frenzies isn't coming to PlayStation VR 2. Don't worry, PSVR 2 gamers, we've got announcements for you later in the year. Yeah, it's probably time to say something about that, man. Like, NDreams, just, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, just seems like they're floundering a bit. You know, they did I know Vendetta Forever seems relatively popular, but they were the publishers of that. Prior to that, they've got Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord. You know, it's just like things seem rough. Once upon a time, NDreams was sort of this developer you could just trust all the time.
And they did the worst April Fools.
Oh, the Synapse sequel?
Yeah.
Why
would they do that? Why would they do that, Brian?
I don't know, man.
Why would anyone do that?
I don't know.
It was so bad of an April Fool's. I thought it was an April Fool's of someone pretending to be NDreams doing that.
Yeah. Mischievous Markio in the chat says, what about their other AAA studio? I mean, I don't know what you're able to say or even what you know, but the game that you played from NDreams, I'm assuming if it's AAA quality, it's from Studio Elevation.
That's what I would assume. To be honest, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure they didn't even tell me at the time. But yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know. I might end up eating my words and be like, "Oh no, it wasn't AAA. It felt AAA." But no, it had technology and things happening in it that genuinely blew me away. It was like a next level immersion. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. For the second half of
that wasn't a
question.
viewer takeover question. I was going to say that was 3 questions in there. That was a bit cheeky. Can I just say that was really cheeky? But we love you, so that's fine.
Indeed. Maybe not quite as much as you love us. That became abundantly clear during the meetup. I was like, oh well, maybe not. Where the hell
which part of the question, which of the 3 questions did you want to answer? The redacted you've done, love legendary tales, could we get some more of those in future? And maybe someone said in the chat, Ghost of Tabor's 3-player. So
is it 3?
Yeah,
well, I guess that's out. No, listen, I would love to play through Ancient Dungeon with you guys. I would love to play through. Honestly, listen, just because I love hanging out with you guys, I think I'd have fun doing a Ghostbusters stream with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Right, because that's where the fun of that game comes from. It comes from hanging out with your friends and having a good time and whatever, just goofing off.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the game itself. So yeah, there's plenty of options, and but the year is long. We have plenty of opportunities ahead, and I think any 4-player games coming out in the future, I would love to have that be something that we plan on doing. Primal Sage, what's up?
Yes. No, I was going to say let's do one more. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, Primal Sage with the viewer takeover question says, with lots of big VR developers having released new games during the past year or so, what are your current top 3 developers that you will buy any new game they make? So basically he's asking, who are the most trustworthy developers out there? Who are the most trustworthy VR developers? As I was just saying, like NDreams sort of like at one point.
NDreams is, like, even though we've criticized them just now, if they release something, I will be playing it. Like, they are for me, like, quality. Have they released a bad game?
I think Ghostbusters is bad. Like, I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's a terrible game. Like, there's something there. It's just it's okay. I mean, I played a lot of it.
You get to be a Ghostbuster with a proton pack and a proton accelerator, right? That's not what they call them. They just call them wands. I forget. And so, like, just listen. You get to be a Ghostbuster. Anybody making a properly licensed VR Ghostbusters game was going to be at least as good as what NDreams put out. That's my problem with it, is that NDreams is a very talented studio, or they have many talented studios, many talented people over there, and they did the bare minimum, the basics, right? And so I don't think that they showed why they were the right studio for this job, because literally anybody else making a VR Ghostbusters game could have done at least as good, if not better.
Yeah.
Who
would you be on next on your list?
Well, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And so when I'm answering Primal Sage's question, like I got to pretend like I'm not a video game reviewer and that I'm not going to be getting keys for these and reviewing. These are developers who I wouldn't even need a review to put out to be like, the second they put out a new game, don't even look at the reviews, just purchase their next game because I trust them implicitly. Number one on the list, Vitruvius.
Yes.
Vitruvius, right? I've actually, even though Vitruvius is, their first game was Mervils and it was like, varied opinions on that, I still loved it. I still loved what they did. They made this nice little budget N64 platformer type style thing. And then Shadow Legend was a massive step forward and Arcanage was another massive step forward. And it's like, I don't even need their next game to be a massive step forward. I just need them to maintain the level of quality that they've gotten to the point in their studio's history where they've gotten to the point where they're a studio capable of making something as fun and as nimble and just enjoyable as Arcanage. I don't think for the next 5 years I need them to get better, right? Or take another massive step forward. Like, just keep releasing Arcanage quality games for the next 5 to 10 years, and I think that's going to be good enough for VR. They're a shining example of what 2, 3, 4 people making games should be doing.
That's a great shout, man. I think next on my list, I would probably go with Vertigo Games. Even if Metro, like, people weren't overwhelmed with, I still think Metro was a phenomenal game. Like, it might not be excellent and stuff, but there's like, they do bold things with their games. I think Vertigo Games are absolutely excellent. And yeah, I if they announced they had a new IP, I'd be super excited by it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think you're even underselling the response to Metro, right? Because I feel like I was pretty middle of the road. I was like, it's great, it's really good, right? Unfortunately, I just played an actual Metro game, and I was like, oh, there are a couple things that, like, I'm just really shocked aren't here. But the experience overall was great. The storytelling was great.
I loved Metro. It's just I knew some people were a bit underwhelmed by it. Not a lot, but yeah.
But then there was just as many people who were like, this is like one of my favorite VR games of all time.
Yes.
Like, they just absolutely killed it. So, there's always going to be those outliers on either side of the conversation. They're just like, oh, this is crap, right? Or this is the greatest thing ever, right? Those people kind of cancel each other out. I think most people fell on the side of like, this is just absolutely quality, and just where we hope VR should be. Like, this should be the standard. It should, like, every bigger VR game of this caliber should be hitting, at least 8.0, 8.5 on the review scale. And this one was worthy of that.
I'm going to be cheeky and quickly throw in another one, but because I want your response from it.
So
what do we think
today.
about what do we think about Vertical Robot?
Yeah,
because
100%.
Only because, and correct me if I'm wrong, they've only done Red Matter in terms of modern, like, VR titles, right?
Yeah, I mean, they did Red Matter 1 and 2, and
and by the way, some of my favorite VR experiences. But the reason I say, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts, is they nailed it with Red Matter, and then they did more of it, and they did it very, very well. But like, if they were to do something new, I would still, I would regard them as trustworthy, and I'd be really excited by their new IP.
So let me ask you this though, Miles. You said if they had done something else, you'd consider them trustworthy. Do you consider them trustworthy now?
Yeah, I do. But that's what I mean. I mean, do I? If they release something, said they're doing something new, would I be excited by it and be like, this is a game we should pay attention to without knowing anything about it? And I feel I would be.
Yeah, I think they've earned that level of trust, because there's certainly studios out there who have put out a game and then they've put out another game, and like they're very similar, right? And they don't take risks. I think Vertical Robot took massive risks when they made Red Matter 2, right? Because they were like they made a phenomenal, beautiful looking puzzle game, almost escape room style. on PSVR 1 and PCVR prior. And then they said, well, that's not good enough. We don't want to just make another puzzle game. We want to add platforming and combat and jetpacks. They just made it a more full-fledged VR game. And so they took massive risks, and all of them I think paid off. And they proved like, hey, like we were given a little bit more power this generation with PlayStation 5, with Quest 3 or Quest 2 even, honestly. And they made these games look fucking unbelievable with the little bit of extra power that they were given. Yeah, I mean these probably more so even than Vitruvius. I think Vertical Robot's a studio that should be trusted with our money and our faith in their next project. What do you think they're going to do next? Do you think they're going to do Red Matter 3, or do you think they've got something completely different planned?
Some people might think this is a weird comparison when it comes to them, but I feel like when I think of like flat screen developers like Naughty Dog, that's kind of how I feel about them, because with Naughty Dog, they'll do Uncharted, and then it's like the Last of Us is announced. It's like, wow, Uncharted is like peak. It's doing so good. Why would they change now? Like, they're onto something. Why would they do a new IP? And they knocked it out the park. And I would like to think that for them to step away from Red Matter doesn't mean they don't do a Red Matter 3 at some point, but they could do another IP and it will be an absolute bang. I mean, in many ways, I prefer The Last of Us to Uncharted, although it was obviously an amazing franchise in its own right. But like, I associate them with quality and world building. And so, yeah, in terms of what they would do next, who knows? But like, I'd love to see them do something outside of Red Matter. But then sometimes you see devs do things that are very different. So like, was it the Super Hot developers then did Toy Trains?
Yeah, well, when they split off from Super Hot Team,
was that what it was? Okay,
and then they formed Something Random. That's the name of their studio, Something Random.
Gotcha.
And then they did Toy Trains, and then Harper Gun, and I just don't think they have the rights to Super Hot, like that. They're not allowed to work on that. Right. I don't even know if they'd want to. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on Vertigo Games? Sorry, not Vertigo Games. Vertical Robot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a masterclass in VR gaming. Like it's 100%. They know what they're doing, and I'm blown away. Both times I've stepped into a game that they've created, I've been blown away. And a lot of developers did not take advantage of what they were given to work with on PlayStation VR 1 with PS4 and PS4 Pro. And it was just like, man, they did, right? Like they what's up? I know you had something to say. I need to hear it. What is it?
Well, it was just off the discussion we were having, which was, if right now Vertigo Games said, "Hey Brian, Vertical Robots," I need to get my names right. It's because I did them back to back. That was a big problem for me. But let's just say Vertical Robots said, "Hey Brian, we're going to do a new game, and we're going to leave it down to you. Either we make Red Matter 3, or we work on a new IP. What do you choose?"
Listen, do I get to choose what the IP is? Do I get to push them in the direction?
No. Because it's either that's the point. Is, do you trust them? Do you trust them to choose the right alternative IP?
Of course I do.
What do you want? Red Matter 3 next, or do you want a new IP from them?
I want new. I want new, because for the exact same reason as Naughty Dog working on Uncharted, and then them saying, all right, we get to break free from this for a little bit. We get to we
and learn from it.
Right. Whenever you've got the confines of a world you've created, you accidentally confine yourself into doing something that, like, you're like, oh well, this doesn't make sense in this world that we've created. And so it's like, well, now that you break free from those shackles and you allow somebody to make a brand new world and brand new characters and whatever else, you say, great. Right, and it just gets to feel so fresh, like Last of Us did by comparison. So,
well, the Last of Us influenced clearly Uncharted 4, and I know some people had an issue with Uncharted 4. I absolutely loved Uncharted 4. Oh, did you not like it?
I don't like Uncharted 4, but also I was burnt out on Uncharted because I had already played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and then right before Uncharted 4 came out, I played through the remastered collection on PS4, right, where they bundled 1, 2, and 3 together.
Yeah.
And I had a blast with those. I had a good time, but by the time I actually got 4, I was like, I don't know, man. Like I've just done too much Uncharted, and this doesn't, I liked what it was doing differently, but it just felt like a more bloated, boring Uncharted to me. And so I never finished it. I never finished it. I'm probably halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
That's fair. I thought that the grounded nature of the storytelling was really strong, and it was clear they learned a lot from doing The Last of Us. So again, to the point of this with Vertical Robot, which is if they went and did something else and then came back to Red Matter 3, there'd be things that they learned from going a bit out of the box, and there are things that they could bring back to it. Just because I'm contractually obligated. Yeah. I would also say one of the most trustworthy VR devs is probably Flat to VR Studios. Cool, I've said it. We can move on.
No. I need you to state your case on this. I don't have to defend it. I just don't understand.
I don't have to defend it. No, I have to say, we had Out of Sight VR come out on Steam VR in early access, and obviously I want it to come out on PSVR2. It is going to come out on PSVR2. I just wish it had done already. But the reviews have been positive, and I'm very, very happy with what they've done with a game that launched on flat screen at the same time, which was interesting. But I don't have to talk more about it. But no, Flat to VR Studios, like knowing the guys that work behind the scenes on it, the stuff they do is amazing, and the quality, like of how things look in the headset, is excellent, and it just makes me excited with all the other project work they're doing.
So I'm going to throw one more out there, and it's so funny because I don't think that you ever consider these people a VR developer, but yet they've created multiple VR games, and they've always been some of my favorites. And so, I mean, let's just throw a nice softball right over the plate here. Fucking Capcom.
Dude, I was actually, Capcom was on my list. But I again, when I was looking at Capcom, I was like, you're right, it doesn't feel like a VR thing.
Right.
They're not, because you don't think of them as VR devs. They are VR devs, but you don't think of it because it's kind of like an extra thing they do on top of the flat screen. But I'm with you. They say they're doing a VR mode. Yeah.
Yeah. The downside about Capcom being considered a VR dev is that they're not very consistent. They don't bring many of their games to VR, and I think we can equate that to when Sony's writing a check, they bring their games to VR, right? It's like I really think that that's what's happening behind the scenes, and so I don't think we're going to see another VR game from them until Resident Evil 9. There's got to be some sort of contract that they've signed, being like, hey, listen, you guys bring new Resident Evil games out on PlayStation 5. Here's a lot of money to make sure there's a VR mode, and I 100% believe that we will see the announcement for the VR mode of Resident Evil 9 within months of Resident Evil 9 getting showcased. Which feels like it's running pretty late, right? All the rumors pointed to Resident Evil 9 being revealed by now, right?
Yeah,
like last January or something like that. I think we were supposed to have it. I don't know, whatever it is, but they're incredible. So,
what about? I know we've got to move on.
So whatever.
What about Fire Sprite? What about Fire Sprite?
I thought of them. Because they killed it with the persistence, and I would like to know what happened with Horizon Call of the Mountain. Right?
Agreed. Same.
Right, because they were they given constraints from the higher ups? Were they told what kind of game to make? Were they interested in making more of a full-fledged Horizon game? Who suggested maybe this should be a climbing game more than anything else? And so there's a lot of questions I have for me to go, oh yeah, these are people that I trust implicitly when it comes to making a VR game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Funnily enough, I talked at the start of the show about on Saturday I went to an electronic dance music show, and you're like, Miles, what has this got to do with Fire Sprite games? I was wearing my PlayStation hoodie, and someone came up to me and said, "Hey, like the hoodie in that? I used to work for one of their studios," and I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm really into VR and that." They're like, "Oh yeah, I used to work for Fire Sprite," and I was like, "Amazing!" They worked on Call of the Mountain, and I asked them one question, Brian. What do you think the question was?
What happened?
That would have been the. I wish we had this show before I met him because then it would
Yeah.
have definitely influenced it. No, I just said, is the persistence coming to PSVR2?
Hmm.
And they said, they they said they couldn't say, not in a I'm hiding it kind of way, but when they were part of the layoffs and that.
Yeah.
But I think by that point they would have known anyway. But I think they're working on their own VR studio.
Nice.
Yeah, but it was cool. But it was just amazing, like just bumping into someone in London who was a part of Fire Sprite and stuff. And I have a feeling that I don't think the persistence is coming. I think we would have known about it by now, right?
I mean, I think so, man. But like, think of, you just have to group the persistence in with Blood and Truth and Wipeout Omega Collection and Astrobot Rescue Mission and everybody's Golf VR. It's all the Farpoint, all of these first party games that were developed and brought to PSVR 1 and just kind of like stuck on that platform to some degree.
Yeah.
And you have this awesome stable of great first party games, and you think it will be Sony's priority to bring these games out to PSVR 2 as soon as they possibly can, right? Like porting them over is definitely way cheaper than building a new VR game from scratch. Why wouldn't you just, especially in the lieu of the lack of backwards compatibility, you would think, you say, hey, listen, with all bad news, you do PR shit for a living, Miles.
Yeah.
The best way to deliver bad news is with a pinch of good news.
Yes.
Right? We literally just talked about it with NDreams canceling Frenzies for PSVR 2. Saying, but don't worry, PSVR 2 gamers, we have big news coming your way soon. Right? You gotta deliver a pinch of good news. So when you say no backwards compatibility for PSVR 2, that would have been the perfect time to say, but don't worry, we're gonna make sure all these games make their way over. Correct. And they never said that. They never alluded to it happening, right? But I do think Sony's been up their own ass for years now, right? With the Jim Ryan era, the live service era, Sirens on my end, and they just got all mixed up and all backwards on what they needed to do and how to maintain gamer confidence, consumer confidence in them, and they fucked up multiple times, right? And so I think it's just going to take a couple of years for them to backtrack and start figuring their shit out and delivering on what we really want. And as PSVR 2 slowly grows, they're going to start hearing our voices more and more. The audience is getting bigger and we're getting louder. It'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've always said it'll be a powerful marketing beat. And I sort of said it from an intentional perspective from Sony, which was obviously a bit naive of me. A lot of these things are not always intentional. But my idea was that you actually want to hold a lot of these PSVR 1 games back until a few years into the PSVR 2 cycle, because what it means is you then announce them, and then you have the vibrant PSVR 2 community who had PSVR 1s who do the marketing for you. Because you have people that hear, wow, what's this game, The Persistence, coming to PSVR 2? And you're looking online and it's people going, oh my God, yeah, I played it on PSVR. It was amazing. I'm so excited it's coming to PSVR 2. And people are like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I should be paying attention to this. And so there is benefit in holding off on some of these things. When it comes to Blood and Truth, just because of London Studios and what happened there, it all gets messy when it comes to like who owns the IP and stuff like that. And you often hear about studios that don't get to work on their own. Well, think about Rush of Blood.
Right.
Supermassive Games explicitly said on Twitter,
ask Sony,
to someone saying, Sony. Like, and I really respect them for saying that, which was, we would love to bring Rush of Blood to PSVR 2, but you got to ask Sony, because even though they worked on the game, they don't own the IP, so they have no say on it, and that's a big part of it as well. So it's not always to do with like Sony are saying no. It's just that they own the IP, so the people that developed on it don't feel that they have a place to ask for it. So it's kind of like a stalemate when it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, it's what we say at the beginning of the show: keep demanding stuff, keep making your voices heard, because people do pay attention. Human beings are at the other end of these social media accounts, and when they see a pattern of things, they take note.
Let's tackle a couple of these tips, and then we can get back to some of the topics at hand. scroll up. I gotta scroll up. And then I gotta scroll back down. I'm gonna have this whole window's gonna crash in a second. Cat GPT, the AI game pet. That's a mouthful. But the level 1 membership says pro or anti pineapple pizza. Making one right now. This was from fucking 20 minutes ago, so I'm assuming the pizza's already been decided on, cooked,
I'm completely
and eaten.
pro.
Yeah.
But I always get half and half pizzas because I can never make up my mind. But half is usually, although I didn't actually do it this week, usually half is a pineapple pizza.
Wow, that's pretty good. I think it's so refreshing. I think
yeah,
pineapple juice is great. Usually with obviously I never do it without the ham. Right, it's got to be the whole Hawaiian pizza ensemble.
Ham. Yeah.
In my defense for a long time about why I like pineapple on pizza was always the same. It was when you eat as much pizza as I do, you need to mix it up as often as possible. You can't just have like pepperoni and cheese every single fucking time, right? And so, you go through about 40 years of eating pizza, and people introduced one of my exes introduced me to one of my favorite pizzas ever, which is crispy chicken, which is basically just fried chicken on the pizza, and banana peppers, sliced banana peppers. So it's like got this like real savory fried fucking crunchy chicken along with this punch of like the spicy banana peppers, and it is just phenomenal, right? And so man, every so often you just got to mix it up, and Hawaiian pizza is a great way to mix it up. Big fan.
Yeah, there you
go. Yep. Samson 143. I want to talk to Samson with the $5 tip.
Samson
says, I got myself back into Trombone Champ on my PSVR2. Holy trombone, Miles has some high scores.
Oh, really? Shit, I haven't been on it in a while. Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's easy. It's easier to get the platinum now. You don't have to get perfecto notes for everything. You just have to get an S rank on. I can't remember what it is, but anyway. Dude, Trombone Champ, I love it. I love it so much. And there's been so much added to the game that I haven't played it recently. And the fun that we're having at the moment is when we release new games, is we release new like in-game gloves. So when we did Surviving Mars, obviously it's early access on MetaQuest and Steam VR.
Yeah, we
have the gloves in the game. It's really fun working across these different titles and doing like cross references and stuff like that. Anyway, thank you for the support.
I need to get back to Trombone Champ. I only played a little bit before it came out, and then a little bit after it came out.
What rating did you give it?
I didn't review it because
oh my god,
cause I don't feel like I played it enough to give it a proper review. But I enjoyed what I played. I thought it was fun. It just it didn't grab. Yeah, massive tromboner. It didn't grab me the way I wanted it to, and so, but it makes me curious about how I'll feel about Maestro when that comes out next month.
Yeah.
Right, because it feels like the same kind of sort of like, hey, we're doing a rhythm game, but we've got our own take on it. It's going to be kind of funny, kind of quirky, kind of different, and definitely made for VR. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I need to get back to this when I have the time. And obviously, gotta play some Maestro. Yeah. It's coming soon. Also, congrats, Samson. Samson told me he got a PS5 Pro.
Epic.
That does wonders for the PSVR2. Old Geezer Gamer Cat with the Canadian $5 tip says, exiting Costco. Checks. I can't read, Miles. Exiting Costco. Check receipt lady said, it's been a while. Instantly, I loudly sang, it's been a while. She did not know the song.
Oh my god. There was a great Instagram reel that I saw. I think I shared it with you, Brian, of a guy that goes, like, he arrives at a house and someone says it's been a while, and you see him like just seizing up, like, and in his head, and you go inside his head, and the song is playing again and again, and like he just wants to let it out of like just not being able to unhear that song. It's amazing.
Markio says, how do you not know the song? I feel the same way when I watch Drumeo videos. Have you ever watched Drumeo where they got some drummer come in and they play him a song without drums, And they say, "Do you know the song?" And they say, if they say no,
I love
they're
that
like, "Okay."
channel. It's so good.
And they had Uncle Jesse. What the fuck is his name? From Full House.
Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. They had him do the Papa Roach song. Last Resort.
Last Resort. Yes, I did see that.
And somebody, please tell me what his name is, because I think it's fucking super disrespectful to be calling him Uncle Jesse right now when he's had such a prolific musical career and such an awesome acting career on top of that. John Stamos.
It was John Stamos.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Was it John Stamos?
And yes, it was. And it was, dude, I watched it and I couldn't stop smiling the whole time, because John Stamos revealed himself as not only an amazingly talented musician, right? Just an incredibly talented drummer, who I did not know was like the actual drummer for the Beach Boys for years. Very long time. Like I knew that like he played with the Beach Boys, but I didn't know that he was their actual drummer. And he's played with all these different legends. And like, and of course, and he was Uncle Jesse on Full House. He's fucking really famous. And then you watch it and you go, but he's so fucking down to earth. He's so just real. And I'm like, man, I couldn't stop smiling. It's just like he's one of those personalities that you just really enjoy like being around, even if it's just on a YouTube video. And man, what'd you think of? I think he did Papa Roach better than Papa Roach did it.
In some ways, yeah, I do. What I do love about that series is that you see how humble the drummers are, and how like a lot of times they're self-deprecating, but like I love the vulnerability they show of like they're always very complimentary, and like it's a really great format. Drumeo, if anyone's not checked out, definitely do.
But it is how I feel about when people go, "I've never heard that song." It was like, listen, I'm not a Papa Roach fan, but I've listened to the radio once, and I know that song because of that, right?
Yeah.
So you just go, wow, like what world are you living in? You know, what music are you surrounding yourself with where you never heard Last Resort? But you know what? Like, listen, it wasn't that long ago. I ran into somebody who'd never heard November Rain. Izzard. So. Wow. Do you know November Rain, Miles?
It was on the TV all the time.
Yeah, his claim was that in the UK it just wasn't that popular.
It was on Kerrang TV all the time. I'd always be like, all right, I'll turn the channel back on in like 10 minutes time. But Brian, have you heard the rumors?
No, what are the rumors?
The rumors, Brian.
Yeah.
There's a state of play coming.
Yo. That there's almost never rumors that state of plays are
about state
coming.
Plays.
It's
our
never
showcase is dead, Brian. Is this the thing? Our showcase is dead.
Maybe.
I guess they are.
Yeah. That's fine. Listen, I think we haven't gotten a showcase since what, 2023.
And the last one was terrible, and I think that's why they've thrown out the door. The reality is with dev cycles is that when you're developing a game, and I've seen it firsthand now behind the scenes now, if you're working hard developing a game, you just want to get it done. And then when you're given some arbitrary dates of like, there's going to be a showcase at this date, so keep developing it, but also work on a vertical slice that we can show on this. Yeah. Like to multiple developers for this time, you know. That's a lot of like stuff to wrangle together, and you might aim for it, but you might not get it right, and sometimes that can be more damaging the product than what is intended. Whereas having state of plays where, okay, there's one game we're going to focus on, we've got this one developer that's happy to do it at this time, it's a lot more flexible. So the reason I say that is I genuinely do think showcases are dead. I think the only time we'll ever see a showcase now, and even this I'm not entirely sure about, is if there's a new console to announce. When the PlayStation 6... But then even then, I think that'll probably be a state of play. Because it'll be like, here's a PlayStation 6 and here are some of the launch titles coming with it.
Listen, you've actually brought up multiple great questions that I'm curious about investigating. And so we're gonna use Wikipedia here as our guide, because Wikipedia has a history of... of showcases and state of plays. And so listen, so we're gonna get to our showcase is dead question in a second, but I gotta tell you that, man, if anybody doesn't remember the very first state of play that happened, here we go, March 25th, 2019. It was only 20 minutes long. What was it filled with? uh, Iron Man VR, No Man's Sky, Blood and Truth, Five Nights at
Oh,
Freddy's Help Wanted.
oh,
Just amazing, right? Just what an amazing state of play, right? For
so
VR
good.
gamers, big time. It was great. But let's scroll a
What's
little
this
bit.
shit? Who plays VR? I remember the live chat.
Yeah.
Who plays this shit? Where's the real games?
I like that you're trying to make it sound like those people don't exist anymore when they clearly still do. It's way less, man. I feel like they've gotten enough pushback where they're like, oh, VR's a thing. We can't fight it anymore.
Also, we show less VR games on them now, so they have less to bitch about.
True, but it used to be like every single PlayStation blog
Yes.
post that would
Yes.
be that would be the response in the comments, like no one cares about VR, or every single tweet, no one cares about VR, and those people have pretty much shown themselves out, right? They're like,
Yeah.
you know, they're too busy fighting wokeness or something. So
Good
let's
calls.
looking back at PlayStation Showcase 2023, just to hold on a second. We're gonna let's blast through this. I want to list literally every game that they showed during this.
Oh my god, Brian is literally about to reenact every single state of play that has ever existed. Oh my god.
hour and 12-minute showcase. Fair game, which I don't fucking remember. Helldivers 2, Immortals of Avium, Ghost Runner 2, Phantom Blade 0, Sword of the Sea, the Talos Principle 2, Neva, Cat Quest, Foam Stars, The Plucky Squire, Teardown, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Final Fantasy 16, Towers of Agsba, I don't even fucking remember this game, Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Revenant Hill, Grand Blue Fantasy, Street Fighter 6, Ultros, Tower Fantasy, Dragon's Dogma 2, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, Resident Evil 4 VR mode, Arizona Sunshine 2, Crossfire Sierra Squad, Synapse, Beat Saber, Marathon, Destiny 2, The Final Shape, Concord, Marvel Superman 2. Listen, a lot of those weren't reveals. A lot of those were just like a more in-depth look. Some of them were reveals for sure. A lot of third-party stuff, mostly third-party stuff. That wasn't even the reveal of Spider-Man 2, if I remember correctly. That was just more Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah.
So, Miles, with this sort of refresher here, solid selection of PSVR 2 games, some bigger third-party games in like legit minimal first-party exposure. What is the difference, other than being twice as long as a state of play? What is the difference between a showcase and a state of play these days? What does it even mean to be a showcase?
That's fair enough, because state of plays used to be a lot less in quality in the sort of announcements. It was more indie based, which, by the way, I'm not saying that's lower quality. I love indie games. I think there's some great stuff. But in terms of the AAA, but I always thought that the state of plays now have got the quality of showcases. They're just more bite size. So yeah, in terms of what is the difference now? Yeah, I agree. It was just that showcases, it was more of a sense of an event of like, this is what PlayStation's going to be for the next year. There was a real sense of that, of like, here's what the next phase is going to be of PlayStation. And they don't do that much anymore. So yeah. When you're talking about the original state of plays and showcases, I remember there was that one game by Capcom which had the girl and the astronaut holding hands. Pragmata, and I looked it up,
right.
and it's still on the PlayStation Store. Date to be confirmed. It's still to be confirmed. No date. What happened to that? It's announced. It says this was like one of the first PS5 games to be announced. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
So, I mean, listen, I don't. Again, I think it seems like it's like, how many games do we have to talk about? How many games do we have to discuss? And, is it going to be a 20-minute or 30-minute video, or is it going to be a 60 or 70-minute video? And I think that's all that really what determines a showcase these days, especially with the clear absence of first-party stuff coming out of Sony, right? It's almost mind-boggling. I joked 2 or 3 years ago, many times throughout the course of the entire year, being like, they have over 20 first-party studios. They're all working on at least one, if not two games, which means we have like 40 game announcements impending. They're not paying people to sit around and do nothing.
Yep.
And clearly they are. That's clearly they are paying people to sit around and do nothing as they close studios and as projects get canceled and live service games gets backtracked on. A lot it like me being like, oh well, that's just not how you run a business. You don't run a business that way. That was my entire perception of what was going on. Was wrong. Sony didn't know how to run a business, and they were doing a horrible job of managing all these first party studios. So I have no idea what we're in store for. I have no idea what they have to announce. But listen,
how many VR games? Because isn't it normally 2 or 3 we're happy with now, right? That tends to be the amount.
If we get 3 VR game announcements during a state of play or even a showcase, I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that as long as they don't revoke it later, like the Five Nights at Freddy. Okay. Didn't they revoke it?
Is
that what it was?
I mean, it's still coming to PSVR2.
It is still coming.
Yeah. It's launching flat screen first.
Okay, and that's fair enough.
Right. And we've known that for like 6-7 months or something like that. And then somebody just said it on a live stream recently, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, that's so good to know that's still coming." I was like, "Wait a minute, we've known this," but that's okay.
All right.
Every time Into the Darkness gets shown, people go, "Oh my god, a new PSVR2 game!" I'm like,
right.
No, we've literally headlined GAMESCAST with this multiple times. Like, Into the Darkness has been known about for like 4 years now. But it's okay. I mean, listen. This is our beat, right? Like our beat is PSVR2, and it's like our job to keep track of this stuff. It's not people who are just casually playing PSVR2 games, or who don't care about staying on top of it. It's not their job to stay on top of it. So like, if you forgot that a game was coming, or you missed, if you're not watching every episode of GAMESCAST, how dare you? No.
How dare you?
Right.
Yes, you right there.
It's so dude. So many games. It's just really funny. You tell me when you're done.
I'm done. But they know. We know who you are.
It's just funny,
everyone.
Because if the developers of Into the Darkness did what Undead Citadel is doing, if they did what Aces of Thunder is doing, people would be like, "Okay, enough. We've fucking seen enough. Just announce a release date. We're tired. Just." Fucking shit or get off the pot, right? And but everyone would know about Into the Darkness, right? And then you do what Into the Darkness does, and only talk about your game every so often. And then you're like, people are like, "Wow, what the fuck is this? I've never even heard of this." And so you got to find some middle ground when it comes to this stuff, because people, it's really easy to get lost on each side of it, and somewhere in the middle is the correct path.
Mm-hmm.
Did we even talk about where this rumor came from?
Well, it's Jeff Grubb reported it, and he's pretty solid when it comes to reporting. I mean, what I like about Jeff Grubb is he will say, "This is what I think's going to be, but this is what it's not." So he'll come out and say, like, when people start doing all the other stuff, he'll shut down. He just says that, we've got a state of play. He says it could be a showcase, I think. He says, but it's probably going to be a state of play in June, roughly. But where he got it from, who knows?
Yeah, he says it's an informed guess, but still a guess.
But he's always been pretty spot on with this stuff. Like, okay. I don't know.
Well,
to be honest, you could just say a state of play's coming, and you'll be right eventually.
Well, and that's what everybody seems to do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I remember last year it was just nonstop showcase rumors, state of play rumors, and eventually you're going to be right. Let's take a quick look here. So far we have February state of play. We had one, and then we didn't have one in September of last year. So September, in May. February, September, May. February, September, June. Okay. Listen, so there's a clear pattern here. If you just scroll through the years, Sony keeps a pretty regular schedule. They don't need no fiber in their diet. They're good. They are regular. They are doing February, September, May. February, September, May. And so, like last week in May, first week in June, wouldn't
gonna be May. Yeah,
it's gonna be May. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So
But
listen.
I think I know one of the games they're going to announce.
Ooh, what do you got? Okay, yeah. Ooh, listen. We're done with the boring stuff. What the fun prediction stuff that we're clearly going to be wrong on? My favorite part of every show. What do you got?
Do we think Gorn is finally going to finally come out on PSVR2?
No,
Okay.
no one knows when Gorn's coming out.
All right, maybe not.
Yeah.
But real things. What do you think, Brian? I'll let you go first because I have no idea.
Somebody should announce Into the Darkness because that's. You definitely put that into a state of play, and people would be like, "Oh shit!" I mean, listen, I feel like anything AAA, if they were like, "Oh, here's another hybrid game," right? Like Resident Evil 9, if they were going to showcase Resident Evil 9, that would be in a showcase. And so, if we get the announcement of a showcase, I would start pushing all my bets into that, being like, "Oh, maybe we'll actually finally see Resident Evil 9. Maybe they'll mention something about a VR mode." That would be very cool. But if it is a state of play, I'm trying to think of who the developers are that would benefit from something like this. And I'm down to say it's time for NDreams to showcase their next game.
Yes, great shout, NDreams, great shout.
What do you think? It's gonna be something.
I genuinely have no idea. I genuinely am like, I'm trying to think and my mind is blank.
What does the chat think? Listen, you guys are waiting for games to be announced. You guys are waiting for there's certainly Quest 3 games and PC VR games that we've been like, hey, we definitely want those on PSVR2. Which games have you been chatting about? Which games would make for a perfect announcement on a state of play? Let us know here in the chat and let us know in the comments after.
Blood and truth. Can you imagine? One more thing.
Crumb Colossus says,
what if they
Aces of Combat 8. He threw me for a loop. Because like Aces of Thunder or Ace Combat.
hilarious.
Is it Aces? It's Ace Combat, not Aces of Combat. He literally just broke my brain. Ooh, good one, Tatum. Gunman Contracts. That would be great.
What if they announce like an open world VR game like Down and Out 2? That'd be pretty epic. This
conversation's going horribly.
That massive open world game. All these people that are saying flat to VR Studios titles, you'll be. I don't think there's anything happening.
Big Frog in the chat says Dusk Golem has said that the next Resident Evil game is being developed as a third-person game. Do you think this affects our VR chances?
No, because Capcom have shown tech demos saying we, with the RE engine, can now go between third-person and first-person with ease. So yeah, that doesn't bother me at all.
Right. Well, right. And I thought that. Listen, I haven't followed Dusk Golem for quite a while. All right, because he was doing nonstop, very cool leaks for a while, and then finally I was just like, man, this is just, I don't know if he stopped doing it or if I just unfollowed him or whatever it was, but it was I do remember him saying at one point it could have been updated since then, that they were just giving gamers the choice to play however they wanted to, right? It's like they've gone back and forth. They've even given us the option in Village to play in third person mode, which is crazy to me. So yeah, and with Resident Evil 4 being a third person game, it worked really well in VR, worked really well in first person VR. So I don't think it'll be an issue at all, as far as I'm concerned, but we'll see. Indiana Jones, ooh, that would be crazy. Sky Basics. Because everyone I know who played Indiana Jones, The Great Circle, is that what it was? Said this,
yeah,
it would be perfect for VR. We haven't seen Judas in quite a while, right? I don't even remember the last time we saw it. I guess I could scroll through all of these state of plays and showcases. But Judas is the BioShock-like game by Ghost Story Games, who were originally the creators of BioShock. Um, and that's just something that I really think would be perfect, right? It's like I've been begging for BioShock VR for the longest time. I do not know what's happening with that IP. I don't know anything about that. But I feel like Judas is basically these guys getting their IP back and doing what they want with it, and it just looks like it would be a perfect VR game, as BioShock would be as well. So, Miles, what was the? Remember we had that rumor of Alien Isolation getting a remaster or a VR port?
Yes.
Right?
I don't know.
You don't think it's happening?
I don't know now, man. Just because of the part that was before we knew about the part 1, part 2 thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, right, but that's a completely different situation, right? Part 1, part 2 could very well be like a 2-3 year dev cycle. Like
that's true. That is true.
They're certainly not promising it, in 2025. And so by the end of 2025, we could have an Alien Isolation VR game, and then in 2026, because it's Vertigo. Why did I just lose who made the game? Survios wouldn't be the ones developing the VR mod or the VR mode, right? Let them keep doing their Rogue Incursion. So Rogue Incursion Part 2 comes out in 2026. In 2025, we get Alien Isolation VR. Kind of perfect, I think. And then maybe the Alien Isolation VR game could line up with the Alien TV show that's going to be airing on Hulu later this year.
Alien Earth, which they've released like 20 different teasers. Just give us the trailer. Although the last one, the gestation one, have you seen that?
I've only seen one teaser, and that was enough. I was like, I don't need to keep teasing this. I'll watch it when it comes out.
The gestation one they've done is a work of art, and I don't think it really spoils anything. Like, just check it out. Visually, it's incredible.
Tatum in the chat says BioShock 4 is currently in development by another team, but not Ken Levine's team. Doesn't surprise me that Ken Levine's not involved with him doing the ghost story stuff. But
what about Borderlands 4? What if they said it's coming to VR? It's not. It can't be, right? But that would be amazing.
Sounds like a showcase title to me.
But I don't think they're doing showcases anymore.
I would disagree. I think they haven't done a showcase in a while. Again, because
it's been a while.
Because they've just kind of botched a lot of things, right? But you don't.
That's true.
Listen, Miles. I agree or disagree. The next time they show that's all I was asking for. I'm glad we're on the same page.
You've trained me well.
Good boy. The next time they show Interstellar, is it called Interstellar? The Heretic Prophecy. What the fuck is it called?
No, Intergalactic.
Planetary.
I don't know what the next bit is. I don't know what the next bit is. Yeah,
it's like the Heretic Prophet or Heretic.
Yeah,
project.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
terrible to have a second byline. Just get rid of that.
Dude, I thought that when they first revealed Uncharted, right? They called it Uncharted for the longest time, then they call it Uncharted: Drake's Fortune, and I was like, whoa, why didn't we just call it Uncharted? But then it ended up actually working out, in the long run. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. So again, Naughty Dog deserves our trust. And so Intergalactic, Planetary, Intergalactic.
The Heretic Prophet. Prophecy,
it's. Listen. So the point I was trying to make was, agree or disagree. The next time they show that game, it'll be in a showcase. They would not do that in a state of play.
I don't know anymore.
I just think
they did that state of play where they had Hideo Kojima inside that studio with Herman Holst, and they did that whole "What up, bro? What up, bro? We're making movies, bro. We're making games, making movies, bro." And then it does that pan shot out of the studio. That was the ending, and I was like, and that was when I was like, wow, they're doing state of plays at the production quality of showcases. So yeah, I think it could be
all right.
It could be a showcase.
Now you get me wondering.
I think it could be a state of play. That's what I mean.
Get me wondering. This is. I think my curiosity is going to make one of the most boring segments on GamesCast ever. So everyone buckle up. But I want to take a look at some of these state of plays and see what kind of AAA level stuff is there, and just see is it possible? Did I dismiss the fact that they could be done with showcases? I mean, Monster Hunter Wilds, That's not as.
Been a while.
Days Gone Remastered. I mean, I guess that's perfect for a state of play because it's not like a Days Gone 2, but I think a Days Gone 2 would have to be a showcase thing. I just don't know, man. I just think we haven't seen lots of first party content coming out of Sony for so long that there hasn't been a reason to do an actual showcase. And I think we're gonna start getting to the point where they start getting their ducks in a row again and start becoming the Sony that we used to know and love, and they're gonna figure their shit out, right? And then showcases are gonna start making sense like once a year again, and they say, hey, here's a reveal of a new IP, or here's the first gameplay of this game that we announced a year ago. I don't think they're gonna do Wolverine in a state of play. I don't know. We figured nothing out in this conversation, but I'm happy.
We're basically here to tell you that we know nothing.
That works for me.
What a lovely note to end on.
I agree. We got no. Why do I feel like every single time I see Andrew.
Was that not an impression you're doing?
Wow. The game cat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $5 tip says, fell way behind in the stream. He fell asleep, is what he's trying to say. He's like,
right. It happens.
He said, but I have a question. What would you like? More sirens on my end. What would you like from Vertigo? Arizona.
I love this. He's doing the new version of this question for
all right.
Vertigo.
Arizona Sunshine 3, Metro 2, or a new IP? I don't know.
Or After the Fall 2.
No, listen. I would love an After the Fall 2 where they really go all out with. I feel like they never quite did the thing that they wanted to do with After the Fall 1. I honestly feel like it just never came quite together the way that they wanted it to. That's my feeling on it.
Or the Seventh Guest VR 2.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, the Seventh Guest has a sequel, right? It's the 11th hour,
The Eighth Guest, no.
The 11th hour. And so, yeah, making a VR sequel or VR version of the 11th hour would be fantastic. But listen, when it came to Metro, Metro to me felt like the best Arizona Sunshine game we've ever gotten. Right? It felt mechanically, gunplay wise, enemy. It just all felt like a better version of Arizona Sunshine 1 and 2. And so I would love for them to take what they learned from making Metro. And I know it's different teams, right? But they all are under the same Vertigo umbrella, and I'm sure they all work together to some degree, or at least communicate with each other, or play each other's games. But I would love them to take what the Metro, I don't want to say engine, but formula, mechanics, the inventory system, right? And then a little bit of the crafting that they had in Arizona Sunshine 2 and blow it out of the water. Just take everything they've done so far and take it one step further. I don't need them to like reinvent the wheel, but I do want them to take everything they've done and take it one step further. And I think Arizona Sunshine 3 could be incredible if they did that, right? Because there was stuff to collect in crafting in Arizona 2, but there was no like real inventory system, so it didn't even make sense to do what you were doing most of the time. You were just throwing stuff on the dog, being like, "Hey, dog, carry these explosives around for me," which is like, okay, but give it more interesting things to craft rather than just explosives, right? Syringes that like will permanently increase your max health or your stamina or this or that, whatever, right? Just give you lots more to do. And I don't know if Arizona Sunshine fans would want what I'm proposing. Because I think Arizona Sunshine fans are like, just let me in VR with big guns and kill lots of zombies. And I'm like, yeah, but we've done that, right? I want to add some of these like RPG mechanics, like these little, make it a little bit more in depth, make it a little bit more, feel more like a full-fledged flat screen game, right? This is what we've always said about like Dead Island. Dead Island was not the best zombie game on the flat screen, but if you put that into VR, it would be the best probably the best zombie game in VR ever, right? And that even goes for Dead Island 2. These like kind of 7, 8 out of 10 games would be like 10 out of 10. And so I want Arizona Sunshine to up their game and at least match like what Dead Island is doing on the flat screen. That's what I want. So yes, Arizona. That's my answer. What about you?
I think the Arizona as well. I think that Arizona Sunshine 2 was a better game in so many aspects, but the first one was still my preference. And I think that third attempt, they could really take learnings from both those games and make something extra awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice. I'm still debating as to whether or not we should have done a show today, Miles.
Why?
We're an hour and 40 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't know if this was a good one.
I think we talked about some VR, so we did all right.
We definitely spent a long time talking about the Dark Ages.
I love what Wes said in the chat, by the way. Wes said, I want to see an After the Fall prequel. It'd be called The Fall. Better than being called Before After the Fall.
Listen, if some of these people haven't been around for a long time, and like if you go back to the conversations that we were having about After the Fall prior to launch, and some of the things that were like, oh man, reusing these same environments would be great if they give us different things to go harvest and farm and like different places to go and like looking for, it's important that we find this type of material on this run because we're really running low on it back at the base, and then having things to do at the base where you're crafting and basically building a civilization or something like that, and like really you are the people going out on these missions and bringing back valuable resources for the people, the survivors at your base. It was nothing like that. You were going out and finding a disc, and that would maybe give you 0.01% upgrade in the handle of your revolver. And like, what is this? What is this? This makes no sense. And then going through the same environments again and again and again just was boring to me. And I know that so many people loved the formula and loved what they were doing. And I'm really happy for those people, Wes. But it's just, to me, it's like just such a massive missed opportunity. So going back and, doing the After the Fall formula, but like, again, blowing it out of the water and making it really, really work. And again, in the same sense that something you would expect from a flat screen game. I it's kind of think that we're almost there and didn't quite nail. I guess it's just me going, this isn't what I was looking for, which isn't, kind of silly. They weren't making the game for me, obviously, because they made the game for lots of people who really enjoyed it. That's it.
I have a dream. I have a dream for the state of play.
Oh yeah. What's
Marvel's Wolverine VR? I've said it. It's out there.
I mean,
VR support now in development after showing a bit of the flat screen.
I think we all agree, right? As much as we'd love a Spider-Man VR game, the Wolverine, just doing Wolverine in VR would be way less of an issue, right? Way fewer compromises having to be made.
Yeah,
can already feel the adamantium claws coming out of my skin, ripping through my skin, right? In first-person VR, be amazing.
It'd be wicked.
Adaptive triggers.
Yeah, man.
Right? Make it crunch.
It would feel very different to a lot of VR games where it's swords. You're swinging down. The idea of like punch in with these claws would be wicked.
I think we should put everyone.
All right, let's do a
4-minute challenge.
4-minute challenge, man. Let's do 4-minute challenge.
Excellent. Well, good. I'm the host, and I've already picked out a game.
Do we have to do 4-minute challenge?
Mm-hmm.
I hate it when I'm the one guessing, but good job. I have the Game Cats here in the live chat who can help me out, because otherwise I'd be a lost cause. Are we ready, Game Cats? You gonna help me? Please help me. Good.
He needs your help. I got a PSVR 1 or PSVR 2 game at the ready, and it's his job and your job out there to figure out what game that is. You only have 4 minutes, but an infinite number of yes or no questions. On your mark. Get Des. Go.
Does it have a multiplayer?
No.
Is it on PSVR2?
Yes.
Is it on PSVR?
No.
Okay. Was it a launch title?
No.
Did it come out in the last month?
No.
Is shooting a part of the game?
Yeah, I'd say so. That's fair.
And is it cartoony?
That wouldn't be the description I'd give it. No.
Okay,
But if you're asking if it's realistic, it's not realistic. No.
Okay. Is it a good game?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be a top 25 contender?
Depends on who was making the top 25 list, but my answer would be no.
Would it be a top 50 contender?
Depends on who's making the list, but I would say maybe.
Okay.
It's a good game.
Okay. Is it made by a beloved developer? Let me change the question. Is it by a trustworthy VR dev?
I would say no, but
Okay.
now they've made this game, maybe.
Okay. Is it got full locomotion?
No.
Is it teleportation?
No.
Interesting. So you're static in this game.
Yes.
Wait. Yeah, you are. Okay.
You're not moving.
You're not moving. Okay. The game isn't solely about shooting.
Yeah. Whatever the mechanic is, that's similar to shooting. Yes, it is. It is solely. It is mostly about that.
And you said it wasn't cartoony, but it is not realistic. So it's not something like Angry Birds or things like that. Are there puzzle elements to this game?
I think some people would consider what this game is in the puzzle genre.
Okay.
It's tough.
There's
tough
strategy involved. There's strategy involved.
Yeah.
And it is a first-person game.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, don't get held up on the puzzle stuff because I
no. Is it arcadey?
Yes.
They're high scores.
Yeah.
And are you knocking things about? Like, is it about getting the right angles with projectiles?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there lots of bright colors in it?
Oh yeah. Very pretty colors. Yeah, very pretty.
Is it a game that, to get those 3 stars, you have to really become a master?
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it Masternoid, Brian?
It is indeed Masternoid, a game that I love coming back to and constantly say that I'm going to review or at least do a Brian bite of, and have never actually gotten around to. But I'm a big fan of Masternoid. Yep. Good job.
Awesome. Hey, good job, chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, good. That was actually one of the most free-flowing ones I've ever done, where I was actually like, no, I'm in the zone with this. I kind of think I know where this is going, so it's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I will savor this because it won't happen again for another few years.
It's all good. Don't worry. You don't have to do another. Sorry, sirens on my end. You don't have to do another. You have to be the guesser. I can't think for sirens. Apparently, this is not going well. Yeah, it's only every other week that you have to guess. You know this, right? It's so infrequent. Like
I know.
It's like twice a month you're in the hot seat.
I'm terrible at guessing.
And it's only 4 minutes each time.
I know. It's stressful, man.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's why I potentially cancelled earlier, because I knew it was my turn to guess.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Miles, this definitely felt like a much more laid back episode. I think you and I were both a little on the tired, sleepy side, but it was fun having a kind of a more casual, laid back episode. So thanks everyone who stuck around and kind of rode that vibe with us. It was nice. I really enjoy hanging out.
Yeah, with you. I appreciate everyone. It's been. I've been like dealing with jet lag, and then on top of that, like this week we announced a game and we launched 2, so it was like, yeah, it's been pretty full on. So much VR stuff I work on these days, but rarely is it playing them myself. So I'm definitely hoping to change that and get back on the Let's Play horse in the coming weeks, because I have a lot catching up to do.
Can't wait to see Madison. Looper, the game cat. Sorry, I meant to say Looper, the keeper of 20 questions, but Looper, the underground game cat, keeper of 20 questions, says third time Masternode has been picked. Previous were July 28th, 2023, Miles to Brian. I guessed it in 20 questions. October 18th, Brian to Miles. You failed. See, this is kind of a redemption arc. Good stuff. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, really
massive happy birthday to Egyptian magician. He says, gonna be 40 tomorrow. I'm drunk as bulls.
Don't do it. This is my advice for turning 40. Nope. You see if you can send that gift back. People say 40's the new 30. Those people are lying to you. It is not good. It's terrible. Nope. And listen, and if 40 keeps up this way, fuck 50. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
Wow, I want to see that in a greeting card. Brian should release that in a greeting card. Oh, happy 40. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Don't.
40 is the new 70.
Whoa. Whoa.
It's how I feel, man. 40. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. I don't want to lie to you guys. I just don't.
All right.
But happy birthday, Egyptian magician.
Happy birthday, Egyptian. Hopefully that made you feel better. Look forward to tomorrow. You got all that to look forward to.
Neon Groove says Brian is right. No, I didn't want to hear that. And then Alice Ryan says 40 is better if you're not alone. Well, I've got tornado motherfuckers.
Oh my god.
By the way, if you haven't watched the PAX recap video that I posted earlier, it took about 15 hours to upload. I didn't realize that was going to be a thing. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It took forever to upload. It took forever to render. It took forever to edit. It took forever to collate. It was a massive project. Even if you're not interested, go click on the video. Help me out. Make it worth my while. And then scroll to the very end. And because I filmed my reunification with Tornado. I took out my phone, started filming before even unlocking the door. And then just filmed first time I saw her in 4 days. It was adorable. She was purring very loudly, so loudly you can hear it coming through the speakers. So go enjoy that. But you all have a wonderful evening. Thanks to everybody who supports the channel, whether it be financially or not. We're just happy you're here. Make sure you come join our Discord. Subscribe to Miles over at youtube.com/Miles. Thanks for being here, everybody. And even people who were here and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. And we love you just as much. Happy Friday, Miles.
Happy Friday, Brian. Happy Friday, Game Cats. Have a wonderful weekend. Play lots of VR games. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Here it is. Your clip of the week, courtesy of Game Cato.
Whoa. Whoa. Ha ha. Huh. Whoa. Whoa, look at that. Tripped out. Oh, and I'm breaking up and turning into pixels. Ah! Whoa. Meow, meow, meow. Whoa. Game Cats, can you let me know if this has ever happened to you? This is crazy. It's just turning into nothing. Blibbity, blibbity, blibbity. Brian, AJ, Miles, Wes, have you ever seen anything quite like this? I'm devolving into blocks. Oh, God. It's good I've got a good VR stomach, because I tell you what. Oh, I'm back. Try that again, see if I do it again. No, did it, worked.
Miles, I love two things about that clip of the week. One, that while the world was, just fucking rapidly falling away in front of him, he thought of us.
Yes, that was it. We were in his thoughts. Yep.
It was like, oh, have you guys ever experienced this? It looked like, the kind of shit where like you think you're losing your mind, right? Somebody is so far gone, like just so far down the rabbit hole, like just like the LSD is completely taken over their mind, and they go, Brian, Wes, Miles, have you ever felt this way? First of all, it's number one. Love that. Number two, he instantly comes back to reality, right? The game
like snaps out of it.
Somehow figures out this isn't what's supposed to be happening. Puts him back into the same place he was at right before everything fell apart. And he goes, I should try that again.
We're not going to get a copyright claim because isn't that the ending from Interstellar that we just watched? Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
I want to see an edit with the Interstellar music. Just give it that emotional beat as he's going bloopity bloopity bloop.
This is what I love. This is why I love Clip of the Week, though. It's absolutely made my day. Make sure you guys upload your Clip of the Week to our Clip of the Week channel, and we'll maybe put in consideration for next Friday's show. Have a great weekend, everybody. We love you all.